Today on Word Nerd Wednesday, in honor of Los Angeles renaming what was Thanksgiving Day to Indigenous Peoples Day, I'm going to look at some words that some have come back into use colloquially right now. Others are just sort of sore issues, and other ones are more general. So the words are savage, nature, barbarian or barbaric, and indigenous. Okay, so savage is the eldest in the English language from mid-13th century. Fierce, ferocious, which is more how it's used now, but coming from a late Latin word, salvaticus, an alteration of silvaticus, which meant wild. Literally, it meant of the woods. From silva, forest or grove. So savage means of the forest or grove, but it didn't come into use for persons until the 1400s, about the 1400s in English. And so we have savage. These days it is used as fierce or ferocious, actually. But actually in general means forest or grove. So if you're savage, does that mean you're also country? Okay. And next, nature. Late 13th century, Old French, nature, I don't know. Nature being principle of life, character, essence from Latin natura, course of things, natural character, constitution, quality, and the universe. There's a lot of things there. Literally, birth from natus, born, and from a Proto-Indo-European word, gene, or gene, which it's probably not, meaning give birth, beget. So nature comes from gene, a Proto-Indo-European word, meaning give birth, beget. Then we have barbarian or barbaric. You know, I don't even know. Oh, that's why I did that. Okay, so barbarian, barbaric came after barbarian. That's why that was my initial word. But barbaric, late 15th century, uncultured, uncivilized, unpolished, from Middle French barbaric, from Latin barbaricus, which meant foreign, strange, outlandish, from Greek barbarikos, like a foreigner, from barbaros, foreign, rude, and it says see barbarian, okay? So then you go see barbarian, and also in English in early 15th century, but from classical history, it meant a non-Roman or a non-Greek barbar, a non-Christian it came to mean too, person speaking a language different from one's own as well, from medieval Latin barbarinus, source of Old French barbarine, which meant Berber, pagan, Saracen, or barbarian. So Saracen people were apart from Arab people and were a particular culture. The Berber people are the pre-Arab tribes and peoples of northern Africa, because those people are more like, well, they're Berbers, but like, you know, obviously they're African. They're not Arab. I'll get into those words later, I guess. From Latin, barbarous, strange, foreign. From Greek, barbaros, foreign, strange, ignorant. From a Proto-Indo-European word, root barbar, which apparently it was meant to echo the unintelligible speech of foreigners. So that's a sense of insult that has been around a long time. Barbar was meant to imitate the way that foreigners sounded to who? The Greeks. No, to the Proto-Indo-European people. And there are other words that barbar has in common, like from Sanskrit. Apparently there's a word barbara, which means stammering. Also, it means non-Aryan. And from Latin, bulbus means stammering. And in Czech, apparently, bilblati, to stammer. So the way that they thought people spoke, they felt was like a speech impediment. I guess that's why you would mock it. And I guess that's why people still do that. And last but not least, and interestingly, a sister of another word, or relative, let's say, we have indigenous. Around 1640s, it came into English, meaning born or originating in a particular place, from late Latin indigenous, born in a country, native from Latin indigena, sprung from the land, native, as a noun, a native, literally inborn or born in a place, from Old Latin indu and genere, to beget, produce. Also from a Proto-Indo-European word, gene, which means give birth, beget. So nature and indigenous both come from the same Proto-Indo-European word, give birth, beget, and are, similar in their sort of honoring, I think, not pastoral cultures, but indigenous cultures that aren't around anymore, like the Berber and other people who migrated around, in fact, and obviously the native indigenous people of this land as well. And so I usually have like other things to say about what I'm talking about, but today was just kind of a straight shoot. I have written a little bit about indigenous culture today and the day before, so I've been feeling that presence and that spirit, and I suppose I just wanted to honor it by sort of speaking on words that people use to describe foreignness or otherness, that and what those words actually mean. So, to review, we have indigenous at its rootiest root, meaning give birth, beget, or born in a place. Born in a place is its most rootiest root before we get to the word, its original word that it rooted from. Then we have barbarian and barbaric, from barbar, a Proto-Indo-European word echoing unintelligible speech of foreigners, but in terms of its pre-Proto-Indo-European word from Greek barbaros, foreign, strange, or apparently ignorant, probably just meaning ignorant of the culture that you're coming from, which is why they would be foreign to you, right? Then we have nature, literally born, and so very close in relation to the Proto-Indo-European root gene, which means give birth, beget. So nature, born, and also a synonym for the universe, also a synonym for native land, obviously also a synonym for environment, weather, the solar system, galaxy. Nature has many elements, but being where we are born, all the dimensions of where we are born. And then last but not least, going backwards, we get back to savage. And savage, from actually meaning wild, but forest grove. And forest grove. And in the colloquial language of today, once again, fierce and ferocious. So this is my return to Word Nerd Wednesday, and next week we will see what I will do. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.